And the next speaker is Dominik. Dominik is a crazy guy. He codes in many languages, for example, Flutter, he uses Angular, React, or Firebase. And actually, he's Firebase GDE and best Macarona dancer in the world. Hi, Dominik.
Hey. How are you
How are
doing?
you today?
Good. It's hotter here, but fine.
Actually, it's super hot here. Okay, Dominik, we will be talking about Firebase and Flutter. So the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the talk called Rocket Speed Production with Firebase and Flutter. Today we will talk about using Firebase in your app and getting out to the public users as quickly as possible. Thanks to Firebase, it's easy, and thanks to Flutter too. I will try to showcase most of the features that Firebase is providing and how you can use them. And as has been said at the start, Firebase is one of the most likable libraries from Flutter. And I like that because I saw a lot of Firebase or Flutter apps that use Firebase, and it's very cool. And I think using these two can make your app very useful, and you can get it very quickly to the production. As it has been said, I'm Dominik. I'm Firebase GD. I'm also organizer at GDG Austria and works as a software engineer at Profig and Extended. Okay. First question that can come into your mind is, what is Firebase? Firebase is a service provided by Google. Instead, call it backend as a service. It started as a real-time database, small startup, and Google later acquired it, and now it's mostly focusing on helping app teams succeed. I'm one of those. For example, we're using Firebase in Extended, and it helped us a lot. For example, by authentication and database is very useful. I will showcase these two features later on. You have to think about Firebase as your API. You don't need any extra layer on top of it. You don't need to build any extra layer. And you just connect your Firebase to your app, your SDK, and you have it. You have Firebase, you have all the Firebase features, and it's easy to use. Firebase have many features. There are three categories. First is development, second is analytics, and third is growing business. As you can see, there is plenty of features, and Firebase is still growing. Firebase team is very helpful, and they are trying to improve their features, and they are trying to add new features that developers need. I think the best features for me, because I'm a developer, I don't much care about analytics, are those on the left, the building behind or below the build better apps. It's Firestar, ML Kit, or now it's Firebase ML, Cloud Function, Authentication, Hosting, and Cloud Storage, and Real-Time Database. Real-Time Database is the feature that was at the start of the Firebase. It's still there. You can use it. There's second database called Cloud Firestar. I will talk about it later. And by my opinion, it's better in some cases, of course. But as you can see, there's also plenty of feature for the, I can say for marketing team or any managers. They can look how many user is using it. You can also track the performances of your app and test your app in the Firebase. First thing, Flutter loves Firebase. It's easy to set up and more easy to use. With this tech stack, you can grow quickly and not worry about service or framework if it's going to handle that. It will. It's easy. Both of them are ready to fire to production and target a huge audience. I saw app, I think it was 2 years ago, on the Flutter conference that had like virtual users, like 2 million virtual users, and Firebase still responded quickly as for 100 users. It's easy. You can focus just on improving your app and developing new great features like some hot dog or not hot dog app. I will start with the development. Almost every app in these days needs authentication. For better user interaction, you want to store data for the user, and you want to track him or target some marketing stuff for him. Firebase got your back for that. Firebase is providing authentication that has email and password authentication built-in. It also supports Auth0, Auth2, and already has many auth providers connected, like Google. Of course, it's a Google thing. You need Google authentication there, but also Facebook, GitHub, Apple. For example, if you're releasing some authentication thing on the Apple side, there are rules that your app needs Apple login. Now, with the Firebase, you can easily implement it, and don't worry about things about that and spending so much time on implementing that. For many of those, it already has pre-built UIs that you can implement. Take, for example, registration. Oh, okay. For example, registration. You just create the Firebase instance there, and create Firebase instance, and you could just call create user with email and password in Firebase. Firebase will store that the user for you. It will create custom UID for him, and you can later focus on targeting this user. More complex example is Google authentication. We can call Google sign-in library to show the Google Auth UI. You probably saw that in many apps. It's the UI that you first selecting the Google user, later probably password, or two-step authentication. And after that, Google sign-in will respond back. It will respond back, and you store these credentials to Firebase. In 5 lines or 6 lines in this case, or you can count it as 4 lines, we are done. We have Google authentication done, and we don't have to worry about anything else. Or other providers like Facebook, Apple, and other, there are like 10 of them, are almost easy, like almost same or easier than this. Next thing that we need is database. Of course, where you can store data. You can store data in your app, in his cache on his mobile phone, but it is not good. You want to respond with the server and have some database for him. Firebase is providing 2 options, as I said. First one is real-time database, and second one is Firestar. Real-time database was the older one. It's a huge JSON tree. It's not built for a huge amount of data stored there, and not for a huge amount of user that is using it. It's built for the responding quickly, and you're paying for the benefit there. Firestar is newer, stronger, and definitely in most cases better option. And it's a NoSQL database where you store data as a collection of documents. Each document can handle like 1 megabyte of data. Someone from Firebase team said that it's like whole Lord of the Rings trilogy. I can't imagine storing something like that in the database, but you can do it. Hit me on the Twitter if you're gonna do it. It's horizontally scaled and strongly indexed. That means that if your app hits thousands of users, even more, like millions, your database will still answer on some inquiries quickly as at the start and without any delay. How you can imagine how it looks like in the database? This is the schema of your database probably. You have some users on top. That's a collection of the users. In this case, it's some workout app. Users have their workouts, and workouts is another collection, and workouts have documents that have another collections with their history. First thing that you need to think about, the data or subcollection are nested. If you download one document, you don't download subcollection. You need to go do another call to your database. But it's easy to use, as I said, and Firebase will respond you quickly in those two calls. And I think you will be surprised how quick it is. How to implement it? Easy. You create Firestar instance, or just call it. You find the path that you want to change. In this case, it's some user, his images, and image ID. The ID of the document can be auto-created by the Firebase. In this case, I set it by myself. It's not needed. Firebase can create it by yourself. And the set data there, I just set the title of the image. That's it. I don't know why I did it, or maybe more data would be more helpful, but that's it. And data loading or data downloading, it's more better to say. And again, you create Firestar instance, a collection of user images. I ordered them by create date. Oh, I have like a mistake there, because in the last time I didn't created any create date field. As you can see, there is no create date field, but there is mistake. But you can probably imagine that there is create date thing in that document. And I will limit that call to just 5 documents. And I'm saying to Firebase, hey, return me 5 last snapshots. Great on that is that Firebase can create listener for that. And you will be notified about any changes that are happening on selected documents. In this case, if new image would be uploaded, I will get always 5 latest images. You can like imagine that as a Firebase as an Instagram feed. There is Instagram photo feed, and there are latest images shown. And in this case, I will always get 5 latest images without any code changes. Firebase will notify me and download the new document if the new document was created in the database. If the create date with the latest create date. Next up is storage. You don't want to just store data. You want to store some files. In this case, cloud storage comes in. It's an object storage service where you store data in buckets, and it has higher scalability and high availability. You can store there pretty much any file that you want. We can do some uploading image. What do you think? Like I already shown some cases of the code that Instagram can have, and in this case, we have uploading an image. First, I will pick a file. I will get image from my gallery. I will get the file, and I will create some storage reference in my cloud storage. It's under the user ID and his images. And I will create upload task that will put file in that storage. Great on that is great on that is that storage task is returning you progress of uploading, and you can create, for example, progress bar thanks to that. You just create 4 lines. Just created 4 lines of in your code, and you have all the things already done. Probably you need some permission thing built before that, but that's it. Firebase again is handling your files. It's storing for you in global scale, and it has high availability. You probably will get the same speed image in America as in Europe, as in Asia. Okay, we are pretty much done on the development part. There are more development parts, but we are going to analytics. I am not good analytics guy. I am, as probably heard from the Matej, I'm more developer. That I usually don't worry about analytics, but there are some cool features that Firebase is providing. First thing is Google Analytics. It's an app measurement solution. You probably heard of it on website. You can connect it to your app and track app usage and app engagement. How you can implement it? Thanks to a second or another Firebase GDE that created those lines, because I already implemented by myself. It was worse. It was worse than that. But in this case, it's easy. You just import 2 Firebase libraries, create Firebase Analytics instance, and you're just calling analytics before you're running app. And after that, what is happening? You are tracking all the users that are using your app. You have nice map where is your app mostly using. In this case, it's in India. Sometimes it's like that. Even my app is from Czech Republic. But you know how many users is using it in time. It's refreshing like every few seconds. And you know the top location and things like that. You have also some user snapshots. You can target, for example, just the users from the UK, just the users from the US. You can target users just from the, for example, from Europe. Another analytic thing, it's performance monitoring. You want to track how your app is going, how it's performant. And with performance monitoring that Firebase is providing, you can easily track your app performance issues. How you can track it? You have some game, you implemented some game in Flutter. I love those, like 2D things or 2D games in the Flutter. I love those. I would love to see more of them because I think Flutter is good for that. But that's my opinion. You just import the Firebase performance library. You create new trace. In this case, it's called load game. You start tracking. You will do some cool stuff for preparing your game, and after it, you stop your checking. And that time will be stored into Firebase, and you can see how you're doing in the timeline. For example, last month my games was loaded in the 5 seconds. Now it's in 15 seconds. What's happening there? What's in the latest updates? If someone like did something wrong. Last thing, I think it's last thing that I wanted to showcase. As I said, there is plenty of features. We would probably spend so much time on in this presentation if I wanted to showcase all the features. I just wanted to show you a few. The last one is Firebase Classlytics. Firebase joined with the Classlytics teams. It was called I don't know, I forgot the name of the company that was behind the Classlytics, but don't worry about it now. It's under Firebase. You can you have real-time crash reporter for your app. Again, it's easy to implement. You just import the library from the Firebase, create a Classlytics instance. In this case, I am also tracking the developer crashes. You don't want them probably in the later, or have some like have there some switch for that. You will track Flutter error and send it to the Classlytics as a record, as a Flutter error record. And later, I'm just running the app. And how it's looking, you have nice graphs in your Firebase, how many crashes are there, how many users are affected by that. You have also the lines or the lines of your code where it's happening, why it's happening, and how many users obtain that event. You probably need that in the production because sometimes somebody push wrong code and you want to track it, and you want to get to the 100% crash-free users. Oh, why did I it twice? Thanks. Thanks everybody for listening me for last 20 minutes. I like to listen to my laptop, and I hope that you enjoyed my talk, and I'm ready for fiery questions.
Amazing. Thank you. We have a ton of questions here, so I guess we can start with the first one. Which crash reporting should I use? The one is like Sentry or Sentry.io, mentioned by Google at Flutter.dev, or the Firebase Classlytics.
Oh, okay. The first one is tracking. It's tracking Flutter errors better. You can use both of them. I like Firebase. I would like to go for the Classlytics, but there is some limitation of both sides. Something is better in the tracking of how many users are affected by there and things like that. Second one is better in the tracking of bad code.
Okay. The next question is, can we, I'll make this like this. Okay. When updating a document in Firestar, and then Firestar notifies all the listeners of new value, does notifying every listener count as many calls to Firestar?
Yeah, each update of the document that is happening on the client side is counting as a new download. Firestar have pricing that is about reads and writes, and if your new document is downloaded for Firebase or new document with the new changed values, it's counted as a new read.
Okay. And the question, next one is, how does the pricing with Firebase work?
Yep, okay. All the features have their own pricing. There is no pricing on top of the Firebase. You have two plans, free and Blaze plan. Free plan have some limitation. Blaze plan is, of course, unlimited, and you are paying as you go. Each Firebase feature have their own free tier. For example, as I said about the Cloud Firestar, it have a limitation like 50,000 reads per day. More than that, you are paying for that, like, I don't know, 8 cents or something like that, 8 cents per 1,000 reads. But you have free tier for your development, and that's it.
Perfect. Can we customize the cloud messaging outside the console, like do it programmably?
Yes, you can. You can do it. You can do it via SDK that is providing Firebase, the Firebase admin SDK. I hope so. I think, yeah. I never actually played much with the cloud messaging, to be honest, but I think it's you can update it programmatically.
Okay. And with cloud functions, can you stream data from a collection to the app via query? This is possible, but within but with cloud functions.
Yeah, cloud function. We call it a cloud function as a backend in the Firebase. It's awesome. You can listen some data changes that are happening in the for example in the Firestar or cloud storage. If also if new out user was created, it have some like triggers, and you can create some. Now I forgot the name. Some webhook, for example, in case of the cloud functions, that will be called. It's hard to do that. I would love to rather connect to Firestar directly to your Flutter app. As I said on the start, there is no need to create any extra layer on top of your database. There is no need for that. Usually your SDK handles that very well, and you don't need to create extra layer with the cloud functions.
Okay, this sounds for me like rocket science. And the very last question: when you stream a confidential query from a collection, when a new document is added that meets the condition of the query, will it update the stream or listeners?
Yeah. All the listeners are listening with the queries that you put them in. If you for example, listening, I showcased it in my presentation. I have the query, or it wasn't query, but I could create the query if the title is equal something, and five latest documents with the same name, or with the query that will be like with the five latest documents that have same title that is equal to my query will be pushed to my listeners.
Okay, and new question. So it's a very last question.
Okay.
Configure cloud messaging in Flutter is more complicated than on Android?
It's not. I think it's not. If you follow like Firebase libraries or Flutter Fire, I think they are calling it Flutter Fire libraries. I think it's not that hard to implement any of the features from the Firebase. There are some cases that it's not yet supported with Flutter, or it's kind of buggy a little bit. I don't know about all features because I'm not always using all the features, but Flutter team is also awesome about that. They are trying to get Firebase to Flutter developers as quickly as possible. And I think if you follow the instructions that Firebase or Flutter Cloud Messaging Library is providing to you, you will get it very quickly to your app.
Okay, Dominik, thank you for your talk. It was amazing.
Thank you.
I just learned so many new things about the Firebase, and definitely I will continue working with this.
Thank you for inviting, and
yeah.
Thank you.